If you discontinue to watch this video at one point, then please tell me what the reason was, so that I can improve. Otherwise, hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn Biographyology today. Saint Brigid, and after we've done with, we're gonna do Neckstretching. If you participate in the Neckstretching, then it's at your own risk. This is the second time that we're doing Saint Brigid, and today or now we want to collect the informations together which we got to Saint Brigid, and then we try to do from memory a presentation about it. So the name Saint Brigid. Feast day, 1st February, maybe we say it. Symbols: cow at her feet, a candle, cross made of rushes and flames over her head. Patronage of blacksmiths, healers, poets, dairy workers, babies and scholars. We try to say at least the patronage. So blacksmiths and healers. Blacksmiths, healers, poets and dairy workers. Dairy workers, babies and scholars. And profile: Mary of Argyle is the second patron saint of Ireland after St. Patrick. She founded the first nunnery there and is best known for her charity to neighbors. We have it back in mind. We're going to tell mostly the story, but with our name here, Mary of Argyle. We might going to mention that. Saint Brigid, Mary of Argyle. Brigid lived at a time when Christianity was taking root in Ireland. The infant Brigid and her Christian mother, a convert of St. Patrick, were sold as slaves to a wealthy Druid landowner whose interests sometimes clashed with the altruistic spirit that Brigid inherited from her mother. I don't understand all about altruistic, for example. So we're going to say a little bit about the background. It is the 5th and 6th century, and Christianity was taking root. She was Christian like her mother. Or her mother was Christian, but she was raised Christian, and her mother was a convert of St. Patrick, who is the patron saint for Ireland. Okay. And we were sold to a Druid landowner. Both. It could be important, but we don't mix it up. As the dairy maid, Brigid would offer milk to thirsty travelers and help the poor and the homeless by giving away articles of clothing and furniture belonging to her master. Her standard response to his protest was that Christ lived in every creature. Okay, we're going to say that she believed that Christ lived in every creature, and that was the reasons she gave why she was giving homeless people and poor travelers food, and thirsty travelers food, and helped the poor and the homeless. Perhaps unsurprisingly, their relationship deteriorated to such an extent that he could no longer tolerate her under his roof and banished her from his house. That brought her into conflict, and she was banished. Still young, she took her vows under St. Patrick and went on to found the first convent in Ireland at Kildare. Maybe we could try to say it. Kildare. The word is Kildare. Maybe it's different pronounced. Kildare. There she became a nun, cowgirl. But if we don't say it, if we encounter it, we won't really be able to remember it. But if we just say it wrong, we will then come, when we heard it right, we can directly know what it is and can say it then correctly and know what it is. That's the more important part. Okay, she founded a convent in Ireland at Kildare, and she became a nun cowgirl. At the invitation of bishops, she opened other convents in different parts of the country, contributing greatly to the spread of Christianity. Okay, she took her vows under St. Patrick. I don't know what it means. Does it mean she became a nun? She opened the first convent in Ireland at Kildare, and she opened then with the help of bishops more, and she was by that way part of the spreading of Christianity in Ireland. Stories of her miracles emphasized the compassion and charity she showed to her neighbors. On one occasion, when some churchmen visited unexpectedly, she is said to have changed bathwater into forfeit beer to quench their thirst. I don't really know what we mean with bathwater. I think I know what we mean. maybe you want to tell you something of it, but she changed some undrinkable into something drinkable, into beer. Some legends have depicted her as a personification of the Virgin Mary, and hence she is dubbed Mary of the Gale. Okay, some people say that she is like the Virgin Mary, the mother of Jesus, and that is why she's also called Mary of the Gale. So we have Gale and Kildare. Kildare, the place in Ireland where the first convent was opened by her. As the court of St. Brigid, she was known as Bride in England and Scotland, developed. Certain aspects of pre-Christian folklore became fused with biographical facts. She was identified with a Druidic goddess of light, fire and healing of the same name, whose festival was celebrated on February the 1st. The festival of Candlemas, 2nd February, has inherited some elements of this old Celtic tradition. Near the shrine at Kildare, for example, a group of nuns used to keep alight a perpetual fire. I think I know what perpetual means in that context. Perpetual fire. It means forever, I think. But I don't know the translation. Just the context of using something like that. And identified with the fire of the ancient goddess. At Candlemas today, it is customary for the Irish to make crosses out of rushes and set them above their doors to protect their homes against evil spirits. Okay, before we read that, there are some people who added to biographical things, to the biographical story. I don't think we need to sell it, to tell the sex story, that she... We have to do it all from memory, sorry, we have to be a bit short. And we don't have all the information, we have just what is written here, we don't have a context, so it's a bit hard to what has to be explained to make understand what you explain. So even making it even shorter, if we don't really know what is not the whole story at all. So what can be shortened and what is important for the story. Light, fire and healing. Some people identified her with the Druidic goddess of light, fire and healing. And that festival was celebrated on February the 1st. Her Brigid is also on February the 1st. On the 2nd February is the festival of Candlemas. And some Irish people are making crosses out of the rushes and having them above their doors to protect their homes against evil spirits. And then St. Brigid is welcomed back here by her worship, by rekindling the fire in the hearth again, after the house has been cleaned for the spring. Is it now in February? It's a bit early. Okay, I think we have information, so let's read one here. Above St. Brigid's modesty was legendary. The Book of Lismore states, she never looked at the face of another man, never spoke without blushing, her desire only to satisfy the poor, to expel every hardship, to spare every miserable man. Mary of the Gale. Blacksmith, healers, poets, day workers, babies, scholars. I'm going to stop the second camera and I'll try to say it. Blacksmiths, healers, babies, scholars. Poets, dairy workers. Mary of the Gale, Kildare. Saint Brigid. She lived in the 5th and 6th century. Saint Brigid. She lived in the 5th and 6th century in Ireland. And her mother was a Christian, and so she, and both were sold as slaves to a landowner. And they came into conflict then because she was feeding with the poor, and she was giving to the poor things which were in possession legally of her landowner to help the poor. And she said that with her reasoning that Christ is in every human being and every creature. Now, then she was banned from a landowner. During that time, Christianity was spreading in Ireland, and also was mainly done through a big part through Saint Patrick. Saint Patrick is the patron of Ireland, also today, and Saint Brigid is the second patron. And her mother was converted by Saint Patrick. Now, she took now her vows under Saint Patrick and founded a convent. Let's have it. A convent. Where did we have nunnery at all? The first nunnery, right? It said in the top nunnery. Saint Brigid. She lived in the 5th and 6th century in Ireland. During the time Christianity was spreading, more people became Christians, and there was the important figure Saint Patrick, who had a big part in it. And her mother was also converted under Saint Patrick. So Saint Brigid, now the child of her mother, which was converted by Saint Patrick, they both, so her mother and her, Saint Brigid, were sold to a landowner as slaves. And when you were living there, but she was giving away, so Saint Brigid, to the poor people and the homeless people and the first travelers, milk and goods, so that they got help. But that brought her into conflict with her landowner, and so she was banned. She then took her vows under Saint Patrick and founded a convent. The first convent in Ireland at Kildare. And she then continued to help the poor. She tried to give the blessings to the poor and to expel hardship from the poor. And it was told that at one occasion there came thirsty people, churchmen, and that there wasn't enough to drink, and that she then converted something to beer, and that they had something to drink. And there's some people telling now that because of it, for example, that is one reason why, that she is like a personification of Mary, the Blessed Virgin Mary, and that is also why she has another name, Mary of the Gale. Now, there were some things now a bit taken together with a Druidic figure which had also the name Brigid, and that is celebrated on the 1st February. This is also the feast day of her, the 1st February. She's the patron of poets and of babies and of scholars and of blacksmiths and of dairy workers. And now this festival celebrated on the 1st February, there was celebrative of a Druidic figure, also with the name Brigid, of fire and light and healing. And now on the 2nd February there's Candlemas, and there are some people in Ireland now making a cross out of rushes and putting it at the top of their door to keep away evil spirits. And then St. Brigid is welcomed back again with rekindling the hearth again after the house had been cleaned in the spring. And that is according to Malcolm Day's A Treasury of Saints book on the page 20 and 21. I'm a little bit confused what I said in the first part and the second part. If I said it all again, but I think I said it very much mostly. I'm going to stop the second camera. That was the Biographyology part. If you were here for Biographyology, you can go directly to the next part of Biographyology, where we're going to do the next set. If you stay here and participate in the Neckstretching, then it's better your hours. We are having the feet standing short of the right part. We're having just a minute. We're breathing in and lifting the arms up, and we're reaching with the fingertips as far as we can. And again down, reach as far as we can. And now reach in front. High up and back. And now backwards. Reach as far with the fingertips as you can. Again down. Now breathe in, tall up, shoulders back. And breathe out, bring the head slowly and carefully over to one side. Breathe again in. And out, chin down to the chin. Breathe in, lift the gaze. And bring the head over to the other side. Breathe again in. And breathe out, chin down onto the chin. Breathe in, lift the gaze and turn the head back into the middle. Have the feet standing together, breathe in, the arms up. And breathe out, go back, and do the shoulder blades together. In and out. Out and down. In and up. Over cross the arms and lift the fingers. Reach high. Breathe out, reach in front of the back. And again, up, across the elbow. Out and in front. In and up. Out with long arms back. In and up. Out with long arms back. In and up. Out and down. Lift the arms up. And bring the hands in and down. That was a short neck stretching. I think I'm very much in it.